Hayden, we've enjoyed watching you on the mound. How's everything been going so far for you and the Crimson Tide?
So far, everything's been going great, Roger, and it's been an awesome start to the season, especially with Coach Vaughn being in his first season and bringing in a bunch of new guys. We've really gelled as a team and off to a hot start, and we look to continue that streak.
Certainly look forward to it as SEC play is just around the corner for you and the Crimson Tide baseball team. Last year, we got to see you out of the bullpen for Alabama. This year, we get to see you in a starting role. What do you like about being back in the starting rotation?
The best part about being in the starting rotation is that I have the confidence to go out there and give myself and the team the best chance to win, especially going out there for 5 or 6 innings. And if I can provide those zeros and help this team win, that's my biggest goal, and that's what I'm most confident in doing.
And then looking at your pitching, what are the different pitches that you throw? And when you're having success on the mound, what's each pitch doing when you're at your best?
So I throw a four seam fastball, a curveball, a slider, and a changeup. And when I'm at my best, my four seam's at the bottom of the zone. My slider is wipe out to righties, and my curveball is wipe out to lefties. And I can throw that changeup to left handers as well. And when I'm at my best, it's really just getting ahead, staying ahead, and putting guys away when I need to. Keep my pitch count at a minimum.
What was really the focus among your pitches over the offseason? What did you and Jason Jackson work on the most to get ready for this year?
So me and JJ are huge guys that looking into different pitches. And when I was coming back from the Cape, we really looked into my changeup as being one of my better pitches to get people off of my fastball. So in our bullpens in the fall and in the preseason, we really worked on that changeup, and it's really become one of my better pitches.
You mentioned some of the success in the Cape Cod League. We'll get to that in a moment. But also going back to Jason Jackson, of course, you started your career at UAB, you transfer to Alabama, you get to work with him last year, and then you get to see him in a brand new role as the season went on, taking over as the interim head coach. Just how did he manage
Mhm.
that situation while still being a great pitching coach for you guys?
Well, he's all around just a great dude and a great player coach. So when he took the interim head coaching job, the players really looked at him as more of like a father figure rather than a coach, a guy they can go to talk to, and a guy that knows the game. And and in reality, he was still our pitching coach, so he really took that as his pride and joy, and that was his main priority. Well, while he was still making lineup cards, so everybody really looked up to JJ in that role, and I think he played it perfectly.
How exciting was it when the news was announced you're getting Rob Vaughn as the head coach, but for you especially, JJ got to stay as the associate head coach and pitching coach?
That was one of the big deciding factors for me staying as well was having JJ on the staff because he's been one of the greatest pitching coaches ever and one of the guys that's made me who I am today. And I was just as skeptical as anybody with Rob Vaughn being hired because I didn't know anything about the guy until he came in and he sat me down, he looked at me and said, "Hey, I'm here for your best interest." And he really reminded me a lot of JJ and a huge player coach, and he's done nothing but awesome things since he's been here, and those two guys together are the best coaching dynamic duo in the country, easily.
It's really been good to see. And speaking of best in the country, you got to pitch in the Cape Cod League, which is regarded as the best summer wood and bat league in all of college baseball. Just how much fun was that experience for you getting to go up against some guys maybe you'd seen before in the SEC with Alabama, but now you're on a national stage in the Cape Cod League?
It was an awesome experience. It was definitely something that I would 100% do again. And going up to the Cape and playing a summer collegiate baseball, it was kind of like just playing baseball free. You go out there, you play, you have fun, really no rules to it. And getting to play different guys from different conferences was awesome. We got to play Travis Bazzana, who is widely known as the number one baseball player in the country. We also faced a bunch of players from Florida and LSU. So it really just it felt like a home atmosphere for great competition.
Great competition as well for you in the fall once you returned to Tuscaloosa for the fall semester and the fall ball as you guys were split up into two different teams. Which team were you on, first of all, and who else was on your team that helped make it a fun fall?
So I was on Team Yellowhammer to start the fall, and I mean I had one of the best falls of my entire life going up against Evan Slight and Ian Petrutz on the Gumps. While I also had Gage Miller, who's been a huge part of the success of this team early on, as well as TJ McCants, and we also had Greg Ferrone on the starting rotation with us, along with Hagan Banks and Zane Probst, two great guys out of the bullpen. So it was just all around just fun competition, really evenly matched teams, and every day was a great day to compete.
How much fun was that team atmosphere that you guys got to have being kind of split up in really every aspect and then brought together for preseason camp to get ready for this spring?
I think that was the main contributor for us gelling so well was that we got to face off every single chance we got. And competition was one thing that fuels this team. And what makes this team even better is that we love to compete. So having all of those guys compete, especially with us not knowing each other that well, just kind of built those relationships and got us gelled together a lot quicker than we thought. And it allowed us to become a better team before we even stepped foot in for preseason. So the fall was a huge part of the success of this team, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how this team gels over the course of the season.
Things can always change really quickly in baseball. Alabama starts the season against Manhattan with the weekend rotation of Ben Hess on Friday, Riley Quick on Saturday, you on Sunday, and that lasted for only 1 week, unfortunately, with the injury to Riley Quick. Now you slide into the Saturday role. First of all, on Riley, just what's he been like since the injury? I know he's been around this ball club, and how do you expect he'll bounce back?
So Riley, same guy as before the injury. He's a huge team energy guy, and he brings a lot of personality to this team. And we really love him, and we really hated to see him go down like that. And all the pitchers love that guy, look up to him as one of the leaders of this team. But as the injury came along, we had to just fill his shoes, and I was more than willing to hop into that Saturday spot, have Greg bump into my Sunday spot. Just almost looking forward to filling his shoes so that I can give this team the best chance to win and allow myself for them to be as confident as me in Riley.
And then last year, Ben Hess was off to a really good start before his season came to a close with injury. How have you seen him bounce back and get off to a strong start? What have you seen from Heater?
He's just one of those guys that's competition is his ideal thing, and he loves looking at pitchology and just looking at different ways to make his pitches move. And he's a huge attention to detail guy. So having him come back and he's just more hungry than ever to get back on that mound and take us to Omaha and get us that extra step because he knows if we would have had him there in Wake Forest, that series would have been a lot different. He wants to be back in that situation and wants to help his team win more than anybody on it.
And then for all the pitchers, of course, a huge reason of the success you're having to start the year is the play behind the plate of your Crimson Tide catchers, led by Matt Cassetti. What kind of a receiver is he for you?
Mac is one of those guys that we like to call Picasso. He is one of the most elite at what he does, and he can make anything look pretty, no matter the pitch, no matter the spot. And there's even times where he catches a ball that may be off the plate, maybe out of the zone, and even the umpire goes, "Well, it looks good enough to me," just because he does such a great job back there. And him and Cam both, with Cam being a transfer in, has really taken under Mac's wing, and they've both become really great backstops behind the dish for us.
That's really cool to see. And of course, we've seen some good crowds already with some good weather at Sewell Thomas Stadium to start the year. Just what kind of confidence does that give you and all the other Crimson Tide players? You look out to the right field berm, you see it completely full like it was during regionals, but now it's looking that way in February and March.
Yeah, it's just awesome to have that kind of fan experience and fan atmosphere because it allows all of our players to have this certain kind of confidence. And I remember first game of the first week, and I looked at Evan Slight right in the face, and I said, "You could just feel it in your bones." There's just something different about playing at the Joe with that fan experience and having those guys clap with two strikes. And everybody that runs the right field just knows they're going to be in for a little bit of a bruising out there. So that's awesome.
It really is a fun atmosphere. We look forward to it coming up against Lipscomb and Tennessee. But Aidan Moza, best of luck in your starts leading up to it's going to be a really busy part of the season getting set for SEC play. Just thank you for your time with us here on Crimson Tide Sports Network. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.